everyone, and happy Monday. We have a very fun looking page to do today. This one is from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. I actually realised that last week's, this is from Magical Jungle. It's not from World of Flowers at all, so I got that very wrong. But I was looking through Magical Jungle today and I spotted this picture and went, did it wrong, but never mind. So today we got our dragons. It's definitely from Ivy. There's no other book that has dragons in apart from the new book, Small Victories. There's a couple of dragons in there. But we're going to do these today because it is the right day to be doing these. Now I've got my Prismacolors to use today because I want to smush some colours about a little bit, and Prismas are quite good for that. So that's the reasoning. I'm going to do each of the 3 dragons in a different colour and basically have some fun messing around with colours, really. My thought was to make them a mix of colours. We'll see if it works. It really might not, but you know, I don't know. Now I'm not going to do them, I'm always tempted to do dragons green, always. So I'm going to try to avoid doing them green. I'm going to grab my first 3 or 4 colours, I think, from my first dragon. Right, I'm going to use this batch of colours. So we have a cobalt turquoise, an aquamarine, a light aqua, and a parrot green. So hey, you know, no green. Broke my rule right from the beginning. And what I'm going to do is use a bit of a mix and probably a white as well. So let's just grab one and show you my plan. So this is the cobalt turquoise. This is where I am starting. We're doing this little dragon here. Let's come in a bit closer. So yes, this dragon, and I'm just going to do the plain part of the dragon first, so all this bit, and I'm basically going to just smush down a bit of colour like that and spread it out a bit. So there we go, and just grab random areas and smush some colour. I am really cold. I'm just going to get a jumper, hold on. Right, hopefully that will do the trick. I don't know, I'm suddenly so chilly, but anyway, I'll probably get really hot in a minute. Now I've grabbed a cardie, so I'm just sort of picking little areas to do a bit of colour like this. I'm trying to fade it a bit on the edge because although Prismas do smush quite well, I want to give them a chance of sort of blending. So I'm sort of trying not to make them too dark and too thick. I also don't necessarily want this dragon to be really dark. So he's got this sort of furry looking back, hasn't he? Hey man, one of them's a dragon queen, aren't they? Right, where should we go now? We'll grab this one. Gosh, this one's sharp. This is the aquamarine. It's a really pretty colour. And what I'm going to do is in some places I'm going to join it up to the colour that I've done already, and in other places I'm not. I need to try and make it look sort of random. I don't know what made me decide to do it like this, but I just thought it would be a bit of a different thing to do. See, I'm just joining it up with here. And who knows what colour a dragon is? Let's do one on here on its own. You know, we don't know. So we can do it however we want. I was doing a different picture in a similar technique, but not colours like this, and it just got me thinking about doing this page with it, because what I do is when I finish the calendar page for the week, I turn it over as long as there's no wet medium that needs to dry, and start thinking about what I'm going to do for the following week already. Right, this is the light aqua, so it's our lighter colour. So yeah, so I've been thinking about this one for a while, not really sure what to do with it. So I came up with this sort of idea. Now I'm quite aware now that I've only got one other colour, so I need to sort of try and fill in quite a lot of gaps with this one. Yeah, I was just away having a coffee and having a look at the local news and things like that. A lot of stuff saying, you know, it feels like it's I don't want to go over the edge of the page onto the picture below. It feels like Black Friday is now the whole of November. All the big retailers are talking about it. This is our parrot green. It's not really green, I don't think. I think it's more bluey, but it's quite nice mixed in with these. Sort of saying, can we try and shop local? There's all this interesting research about if you spend your money locally and then the business you're spending at also spends locally, it really helps to sort of boost your local economy, you know, and keep your high street alive. In the UK, I don't know if this is true in other places, our small town high streets are really struggling. People were already, before COVID, sort of buying online a lot and not going into town, and since COVID that's got even worse because obviously shops had to shut and we had to buy online, and not all shops, small shops, could do deliveries and things like that. Right, so I finished this basic bit and it looks a little bit messy close up. It might not far away for you. And I'm going to use a white. What colour is that? That looks white. That's the grey green. I don't want that, I want the white. So I'm going to grab the white. This is the Prisma white. And I'm going to colour all over the whole thing with the white to blend it together, to smush it down. And yeah, just to sort of finish it off. Now this white can be used as a blending pencil if you wish. I'm not really, well, I am using it as a blending pencil, but I don't tend to use it as a blending pencil a lot because it lightens everything, which isn't usually the effect I want to go for, but it is today. I do want to, I'm quite happy with slightly changing the colour because there's a lot of detail still to do with the same pencils. So if this looks just like a slightly different shade, then it will help the rest to stand out. So anyway, yes, it's a lot about supporting local shops. I try to. There is a limit to things that we can buy locally, but there's also quite a few local shops that, because they haven't got a marketing budget and an advertising budget, don't really hear of them. Don't even know they exist until they're closing down, sort of thing, which is a shame. I mean, our town isn't huge, but actually there are a few bits and places that I don't go to in the town. You know, a few streets, some of them are very high up, some of them are very low down, because it's a very hilly town, and they just don't always go into all of the shops. So there is that problem. It's probably the same in all towns or high streets. I'm just going back up there to tidy that bit, that's better. Thing is, once you start doing this, you have to do it everywhere to match it in. I'm not going to do it on the other parts of the dragon, just this main bit, and then the other bits I shall maybe layer up a little bit more. But hopefully you can see that we're getting to see the sort of mix of colour, and I just thought it would be a bit different than just colouring it in plain. And we can do the same on the main sort of body of this one and the main body of this one, I thought, but with a different colour set. I'd say it's just a bit different. Yeah, it's Friday afternoon. It's not Monday morning, it's Friday afternoon. Have I got that Friday feeling? Yeah. It's nice to know that for 2 days I don't have to worry about trains being cancelled. All the trains this afternoon have been cancelled, but husband is going to pick the children up, so I know they'll be sorted out, so I don't have to worry. And oh, one boy's just sent me a message. He said he's an hour early, but he got an earlier train on purpose because a lot of them were being cancelled. So he thought he'd grab one quick that he knew was running, just in case. There we go. So that's that. It's not really neat, but I'm quite happy with the way it looks. And we're going to do, oops, my white pen is running away with me. So now I need to think about, I'm going to use all the colours again, but I need to think about where. I think I'll grab the lightest colour first, which is our light aqua. I didn't bring my my sharpener in with me, but anyway, so light aqua, and I think I'm going to do all these scales on the chest, and I'll show you how I like to do them. So I like to put a more layered bit at the top and then less towards the bottom, and the same all the way through, so that we get a slightly textured look, as if they're resting on top of each other. Excuse me. And while I'm doing this, and if you're not colouring along, there's something you could do for me as a favour. You could hit the like button, please. It makes a big difference, you know. It's hard to imagine, actually, with a channel like mine, which isn't massive. I mean, I'm growing and I'm really appreciating all the support I'm getting, but you know, just liking makes a big difference. I know my boys say, oh, X person says that watching the adverts makes no difference to their channel, they pay so little, and the likes and subscriptions, it doesn't make any difference. But it does make a difference for a smaller channel. You know, the bigger channels make more money through sponsorship, but I haven't got a sponsor, so you know, that's how I do mine. And although my channel's never been about the money, you know, it's nice to be able to use, you know, I can then buy like next year's planner and things like that, you know, replace my pencils that are wearing down and different things without having to sort of think about it. You know, I can put it through as a business cost sort of thing, and it doesn't cost people anything apart from time to help with that. But I know it can be irritating and you might not have the time, and that's all understandable. Some people really dislike the ads, and that's fair. Oh, I had some news for you. Let's not talk about that anymore, it's boring. News. I put some more items in my Ko-fi shop. You may or may not have seen them already. I've done it today, and I'm running about a week and a bit, because it's Friday. It is actually Friday the 3rd of November, so I'm running quite a way ahead of myself at the moment. And I put some items in my Ko-fi shop, as I say, you may have seen them, and I'm hoping they might be useful. They are very simple charts for you to use with your Johanna Basford colouring books. So basically, I've looked through all the books and I've written down a name for every page. So for this page, I've done this page in Ivy. I called it 3 Dragons. You know, quite a simple name, but hopefully enough for you to be able to identify which page, and they're in order, page order through the book. And next to it, you can write in the chart the date you started colouring the page, the date you finished colouring the page, because I know some people like to note that down, and some people even write the date on the page in the book. Now, I would never want to do that because I like to see the picture, not a bit of writing, but it means that you don't have to do that, but you can still record the information. It's not so bad in the planner. Of course, you could just write it here in this manner. And then there's a space for writing the materials you've used. It's not a huge space, so I put them up as PDF files which you could print. And then my sister said to me, you know, people might want it as a digital document that they can type into. And I was like, oh yeah. I said, She said to give them the Word doc. I said, well, it was an Excel file. She said, give them that. So I've also allowed you to have the Excel file, which is so you can edit it, which means if you want to change the page names, if you don't like the name that I've chosen to call the page for some reason, you might want to call this Dragons and Butterflies, not Three Dragons or something, whatever. You might have your own names for some pages that in certain pages in the book or whatever, and you can edit that. But you can also add columns if you want, or extend them. So if you've got loads of materials, you can make it a bit bigger to fit that in, whatever you might want to do. Now I've still got this light coloured pencil, and I'm thinking about what else I might want to do with it, but I think I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is fit in that white bit there where I've missed a bit, and there, and there. There we go. Now I'm going to go a little bit darker. So there are those that I've done. Now I've only done, this is parrot green, I've only done them for Johanna's books at the moment. So if there's any other books you want them, now obviously it's got to be a book, well, it hasn't got to be a book that I've got, because I can watch a flip through the book and then do it from that, but it's easier if I've got the books. I did it for Small Victories, which I didn't have when I did it. I'm hoping I've got it by the time this video goes out, but I didn't have Small Victories when I did it. But I just, here I'm going to go dark on the edge and just lighten up towards the bit, that bit, okay. I did it from Johanna's flip through, which was really, she did a slow one on YouTube, which I followed and did it from that. So I'm hoping it's right, because it was odd, because there didn't seem to be like, didn't look like there was a "this book belongs to" page, or a yeah, it's a bit strange, but anyway, it didn't seem to be one. So I hope that's right, but I can always check it and amend it if I'm wrong once I get my book. But I can't imagine that Johanna would not show us a page, especially as I watched her Facebook, her Instagram and her YouTube flip throughs. Not that I was obsessed. I expect many of you did too. Please tell me you did. It wasn't just me. So again, I'm trying to just fade these down a little bit towards the tip of them. And yeah, so I did that for those, but I think it'd be easier for books that I've got. But I think I've got most of Maria Trolle's books now. I've got Hannah Carlson's books, so I'm lucky that I've got quite a lot of the more popular books. This is the aquamarine. I'm going to use it for these bits that are here. I'm trying to make them a little bit lighter towards the tip, but I still want it to be fairly dark so you can see it above this bit. And then this bit here is showing quite a lot of white paper through. You could use a blender to get rid of that, or a burnisher. The Prismacolor blender is probably the best choice, but I'm quite happy seeing that through at the moment. I might change my mind, but at the moment I'm going to leave it. I think I'm just going to block these in because it's a little bit, they're quite small. And I have these sort of horns. Are they horns? What do you think they are? Maybe not horns. I don't know. I'm going to fade that towards the centre and then back that way. Like that, so I've got a bit of shine in the middle. I'm just going to do the horns, whatever they are now, and then we'll do the wings in a bit. So we're going to the cobalt turquoise for these. And I'm thinking they might be quite dark along the bottom. In fact, along the edges. I'm going to try and leave a lighter bit in the middle. Oh, I've got hiccups, excuse me. It's from my coffee, I think. My My son just sent me a message, it distracted me. He said he didn't get wet, which was nice. It was really raining very hard while he was on the train. But he said it stopped about 15 minutes before he arrived. I'm sure his journey's only 15 minutes, so it must have stopped. It must have just rained while he was at the station, so that's good. There we go. So you can see there's a bit of a shine line down there, making it look a bit more rounded, and like it's a bit shiny. I think it might be a bit shiny. They might be a bit shiny if they are horns. Depends what they are. If they're ears, they might be furry, but I don't know. It's not what I'm thinking they are. It's often down to personal interpretation. With dragons. My son used to like dragons. I used to say to him, what colour should I colour the dragon? What colour are they? He'd go, Mum, they're any colour you like. They're not real. Are they? Now I'm going to keep this colour and do these bits on the wings, this bit. Here. Again, very similar to the sort of horns by leaving a little white bit, oops, or a lighter bit in the middle. Trying to anyway. There we go. And then yeah, talking about my Ko-fi shop earlier, if there's anything you want me to try and do, let me know. I was thinking whether there are any more pencil colour comparison charts or swatch charts I could do, but I don't think so. I've done quite a lot of those for various different sets and things, so I'm not really sure there's any more to do. My Poly Prisma is the most popular, I'm not surprised. Right, now the inside, well, we've got this little bit to do first. I think I'll grab the aquamarine for that. Again, I think it will be a bit darker on the edges. I think I might just do some random squares. That's actually not very random, is it? Let's do that one as well, or else it's looking a bit contrived. Still isn't very random, but never mind. I quite like it being evenly spaced, or, you know, reasonably spaced. So I'm trying to think what I've got on next week. What have you got on this week? Any excitements? I'm going to use the light aqua. I think I might just fill in all the gaps in light aqua. My weeks are usually pretty much the same. Sort of concentrating on getting the boys doing their work and getting on, and making videos in between when I've got time. Right, how are we doing? Let's just have a little look. Yeah, I think he's doing fairly well, isn't he? Right, so here's our sort of bluish one. We've got this guy to do next, I think. And we're not going to get them all done in one session, are we? I'm wondering about sort of orangey colours for this guy. So I'm looking at what I've got. Some of these oranges are really bright. This is the orange. And we've got the pale vermilion. We've got a, what's that? Cadmium orange hue. There's a mineral orange. What's that? There's a yellowed orange. What's this one? The pumpkin orange. I think we could use all of those quite easily on this little guy. We might not use all of them on the body. We might mix it up a bit, but let's have a think. I think we might just use these 3 on the body, maybe. So you don't have to do it in exactly the same way as the other one. So this is the pale vermilion, the orange, and the cadmium orange hue. I think they work well together. So I'm going to start with the pale vermilion and just do some areas like I did on our other one. Now he's got dots. I'm going to ignore the dots. I'm just going to colour over them. We're going to do this on the face as well though. Now I realise we haven't done his nose. I'm just actually going to grab a black. Is it black? Oh, there. And just do his nose in the black. Oops. Black. There we go. Okay, so let's get back to our pale vermilion. Sorry. It's just because I saw this guy's nose, it reminded me I hadn't done his. Okay. Just sort of fade it out a bit. I'm trying to think, you know, we've got 3 colours here that we're using, so have we got enough space? I'm going to put a little bit more here and then I think I'll make that do. Which one next? Doesn't really matter, does it? Let's grab the orange. Now for some of these I'll join them together like I did last time, and some of them I'll leave the gap for the other colour to come in. Do a bit up here. Now you can do it as random as you like, or you could just choose one colour if you're not confident with mixing them up like this, or if you don't like it, you know, don't have to do it in the same way. Do a bit there, just as random as you like in the middle. Don't want it to be too much, too big an area of the light colour. Although it's the darker colour, isn't it? Yeah, it's the cadmium orange hue. It's a bit darker. And just basically fill in the gaps. And then we're going to sort of smush it up like we did last time. I'm feeling so tired again today. I need to start making videos earlier in the morning when I'm a bit more awake. But as I say, it said, I think maybe in my last video, the clock change as we call it, or daylight saving or whatever it's called, is really affects me a lot. I find it really hard to get used to. Right, that's those 3. I'm happy with the amount of that. I'm going to grab my white. This is the white that I used before. I'm going to scribble it on some scrap paper to make sure it hasn't got any blue on it, because I don't want blue in this. And then I'm going to use it to smush this all up together. And it sort of slightly fades it as well, which I want to do, because I want all the bits I haven't coloured to stand out more. Now these dots here, I'm not sure whether they're supposed to, and these bits, are they supposed to be part of our dragon, or is it a necklace? because the last dragon we did has a necklace on, so I'm wondering whether it's a necklace, and if so I'm not going to colour it this time. I'll do it in another session when I do the other necklace. We'll just sort of do the jewellery together. What we're doing now is more about the sort of skin, I suppose you would call it, scales maybe. I don't know. So just smushing this all up together. Now Prisma smush really quite easily compared with things like polychromos. They don't really smush, they just layer. You can use a blending pencil to some extent, but not as effectively as with the Prisma. If you really plaster the Prismacolor pencil down on the page, you can actually see it moving when you smush it about, which is quite interesting. I haven't quite gone that hard. I'm hoping you can still see that there's different areas of colour. I think you can. Like it seems a bit more obvious on that one. Right. I'm going to grab the black again first and do the nostril like we did before. There we go. And now we want some different colours for the different parts. Now I think we'll use these other three colours that we've got. So I'm going to start with the mineral orange and do a few bits. I think I'm going to do this bit around the mouth. And I'm just blocking this one in. I'm not really doing anything special. It's going to be tricky in here because that's part of this dragon. But anyway, I'm sure I will find a way. So there is that bit in the mineral orange. I think I'm going to do these stripes too. What time is it? Up to 2. Yeah, need to keep him. My husband's going to leave it up at 3. He said, go and collect the boys. One of them finishes at 4:15. One finishes at 4:45. I think I'll do this edge too. And then it sort of matched that bit. There we go. Now, I quite like the idea of the sort of the spiky bits to be even darker. Whoop, just moving my pencil sharpener, everything's going. So I'm going to use the pumpkin orange for these. What do you call these? Not scales, not spines. That's it, isn't it? Spines. I like how all the dragons look slightly different, like there are different types. My son was talking about dragons last night, actually, saying how, you know, when people used to find dinosaur bones, they would think they were dragons, but, which is interesting, which is what reminded me, that actually it wasn't about that. It was the fact that he said that people wanted a dinosaur named after them. So when they found dinosaur bones, although they might have been of a dinosaur that had already been discovered, they would try and lay them out in a slightly different way so that it looked like it was a brand new one, and then they could claim that they had discovered this dinosaur. And so a lot of them, so there actually aren't that many types of dinosaur really, but there at one point people thought there were. I'm trying to just put it a little bit more thickly near the head, which I thought was quite an interesting fact. It makes sense too, doesn't it? You know, wanting something named after you. could be quite cool, couldn't it? Like these gymnasts who have a little move named after them, or things like that. And my husband's great uncle, who's had 2 animals named after him. He was a explorer, a naturalist, so he found animals that the sort of Europeans had never discovered before. So they had his name incorporated into their Latin names. Like, I've told this story before, he discovered the okapi. Obviously, the okapi had already been discovered by people who lived in the Congo, but for a Westerner, the Westerners had never heard of them. And he, so they're called Okapi johnstonii. He was called Sir Harry Johnston. But, yeah, he did a lot of paintings. Some of them he actually illustrated a book called The History of the Slave, which I don't know how these days people would react to it, but it did show a lot of bad treatment and things like that. It was like a document as to what it was like, and so he illustrated it with his own paintings, and the paintings are pretty horrible. So I guess he was trying to show the true light of the nasty things that went on. Right, let's grab a pale vermilion for the wings. Now with these wings we try to make this bit look rounded. I'm going to try and do that with this, because we've got these dots on. It's a little difficult, so I'm going to ignore those dots and just colour this. This will do the edges more, so and then, sorry if my hand's in the way. Just trying to make it a little bit lighter in the middle and on the edge. I'll do this one while I try and think about what's going on with this bit. Might need a different colour, I think, for that bit. Now I was thinking that I might go over the top of this curved a bit in a different colour, but I think I actually might just leave it as it is and not worry about it. I'm going to use the cadmium orange hue next. Just going to give it a sharpen. And I'm going to use it for the next sort of layer of thin, this bit. But I think I'm just going to block that in, because I want it to look a little bit different. And this bit's quite thick, but this bit's a bit too thin to do anything with. And the last one is the orange, and we'll just sort of fill in the gaps really here. Imagine being an explorer in Victorian times, it must have been quite hairy. Wouldn't know whether you'd be able to return, you know, safely going out on a ship. Right, oh, we've got this bit. Right, let's have a look. We've got these two done. I'm thinking, as they're the only ones with jewellery, this one doesn't have any. Well, or unless that's jewellery. I really think that's a bit of the neck. Then you could say the same about this. No, I think I'm going to do that, and that is jewellery. Let's do that now, and then we'll and then we'll leave that for today. So we'll just do a little bit more. Now I'm going to use the burnt ochre. No, sorry, dark umber. There isn't a burnt ochre, is there? I don't know, probably is. No, the dark umber for the first bit for the jewellery, and I'm going to keep it quite simple. I'm going to do it all together. So a bit of dark there. I think it'd be more dark here. So I'm going to extend my darker colour a bit further up like that. And then these are trickier because we've got circles. I'd quite like these to look metallic. I'm just going to put my dark bit on the bottom. And a bit here and there. Right, now we want a light umber. Then we go over the top of what we've done already and extend that colour. Up and down. And here just up a bit. And this one around. There we go. And then we grab where are you? Over here. The yellow ochre. And again, we're still covering everything. And extending. We've got another colour and white to go. So we need to be aware of that, although I think with these beads I might not put the other colour on, I might just leave the bit of white at the top. Our last is the jasmine, just going to sharpen it. Jasmine, and again just over the top again of everything. I'm going to do a bit down from the top first. And then we want to leave a bit of white. Doesn't need to be too much, just so that it looks like there's some shine. I'm going to go over these, but just still making sure there's a bit of white at the top of each one. I might be actually just going over the top of what's already been put down, but that's okay. There we go. Now this chappie needs a gemstone. Or lady, I don't know, doesn't matter, does it? I'm thinking a bright red might work well against this sort of blue and with gold. This is the Scarlet Lake, slice and sharp as well, isn't it? And I'm thinking it would be darker around the edge, by the edge of this metal casing. Like that. And then I'm going to deal with each little section separately, just gently coming in towards the middle. And then on the centre I was thinking we could just do a few stripes as if it's sort of catching the light. I think I don't want to leave any white though there. And it's a bit more effective. So there is our necklace. Yeah, I think that's enough for today. I've got a slightly larger dragon to do and think about the background, but I think there's a lot going on there to think about. So that is those two. I hope they're okay for you. We'll just come out so you can see how they look in the context of the whole page, although we haven't done much of it yet. This one looks quite peachy the way it's blended, which is quite interesting with the white on top. I guess white on top of orange is going to make a peach colour. I didn't really think of that, but it doesn't matter. I haven't thought about what colour to do this one. I've got a few plans. I want to make it not green, so that's sort of, you know, and not orange or blue, so we're probably left with pinks or purples or something like that. So I shall have a think, but until tomorrow that is this page sort of done for now. So yes, tune in tomorrow for the next bit. And I also need to think if I'm going to go over the top of any of these dots or just leave them as they are. I think I'm going to decide once I've done this one, because they've obviously got them as well, but we'll see. But anyway, for now, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you have a super Monday. Enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.